Hello, hello. Hey, Chef Halton. It is Thursday. Yesterday we launched the new playtest version, and I've been working really hard. I was thinking about what should I do now? Like, what's the top priority for the game? And then what do I want to do? These two things don't always really both matter, especially the what do I want to do part. Usually it's just what's the top priority for the game. But since we made a lot of progress, since this new version's out, since I've got to reach out to people and see what they're thinking about it, I think I should just make some general improvements. And yeah, if I have the energy, do it. And if I don't have the energy, then don't worry about it. Hey, Athletics. Hey, Rohit. We're having good Thursdays so far. Okay, so this is a bug I definitely need to fix. Let's go take a look at this. I'm gonna just check this stuff in the main probably. So challenge mode details. We load did game end. Actually, we don't load it. We recompute it. So what think I need to do is keep track of have we granted rewards yet. Private pool has granted rewards. So this will start as false. And then when we call reached money goal, the UI is going to listen for this. It's going to show the end screen. Why doesn't... Okay, no, I think this makes sense. Thinking about taking a break. Thinking about just taking it a little bit easier than normal, maybe just even for today and tomorrow. I'm not sure. I didn't really have a lot of time to think about this stuff yesterday. And yeah, I think that probably the top priority for the game right now is get people to like comment on challenge mode. So the number of people we had playing yesterday was 3, and the number of runs was 5. So could I do like this as num people, comma, count metrics IDs as num runs? What am I doing wrong here? Oh, whoops, I forgot the distinct. Yeah, I need to spell it correctly. There we go. Yeah, so 3 people, 5 runs. How do you select columns or how do you have the columns print out? SQLite print column names. Yeah, here. How do you do that? You know, I realize more and more that this is pretty good, the AI results, but that they take a long time. Dot headers on. There we go. That was easy. I also plan to do a lunch on my run break after this. My lunch. Oh my god, I completely botched that sentence. I plan to do a run on my lunch break after this meeting. Hey, I'll go Dev. Hey, Matt. Yeah, I think. Okay, so I do think this is the most important thing, and I think after that, it's probably like improve challenge mode so that it's even more fun. And I have some ideas for this. I kind of know what some of the issues are, and yeah, my main issue is that runs don't feel all that different after you've done, say, like 5 of them. So I think we need to work on that. Yeah, how did they go, Athletics? Do you think they're overall good changes now that you've felt them? Because I think my own opinion is timer changes are good. Meta perks, I think, are very good. And I mean, that was pretty much what we did. Like removing specializations, I think made sense. I think adding the difficulty track, I think was good. But yeah, meta perks are probably my favorite part of this sort of thing. And I need to finish balancing some things, adding more content, etc., etc. Hey, Lind. 2 thumbs. I didn't mind it so much. Yeah, I didn't mind it so much in the old thing. I think what I like about it for the new thing is it fits the game so much better. So from a practical perspective for me, it's 1 thumbs up, but from a theory of it perspective, it's 2 thumbs up. And yeah, specializations, I mean, these aren't super important. I think the difficulty track is more important. This one, it's like, I don't think anyone really misses them if meta perks exist. 5 of the game drives with it perfectly. Yeah. Yeah, I think it must have been frustrating for people to be like, there's 3 minutes left. There's no chance of me winning. Why am I still playing this? Especially if I'm not going to get anything when I lose. So I'm glad we pivoted fast enough on that. I also don't know how long it would have taken. Like, let's say we never had specializations. How much time would I have, quote unquote, saved? And my answer is probably not too much. Like I was still building all this stuff from the ground up. It was nice to have something that wasn't totally accurate so that I only had to change it. Because it's not like it took a year to revamp this. It took like 2 weeks, 2.5 weeks. So yeah, maybe we could have had to take 1.5 weeks or 2 weeks. Shave 3 days off or something. Not the end of the world. Oh, I should probably just copy this over to here, huh? Okay, so we have this reached money goal, and this should probably say like a Boolean for whether we should grant rewards. Not has granted rewards. And then the rewards granting, we're going to set to true. And then when you load, we're going to set it to true if the game already ended. And that's got to be in save data. Thank goodness. The AI just saved me there. Does not contain a definition for did game end. What? Did run end, excuse me. All right, so now we go change the UI side of things to say bool grant rewards. And we only grant rewards if that is true. Oh wait, isn't something missing from here? Where are the rewards actually granted? In the end screen? Oh God. Grant reputation, here it is. Okay, that's not a smart idea. I mean, I could in init pass in whether we should grant rewards or not. But does this have to be here at all? Yes, because we output what it does. Or no, because this is the end screen. Nothing in here is needed, is it? We pull from challenge mode data, challenge mode progress. The details themselves tell us which medal we earned. Why? Oh man, all right. There's a lot of stuff that I don't think makes sense. First impression was it feels slow. I like the idea. Unlocking meta perks feels like the mountain. I don't know if I'd put enough time to grind it out and try to reach level 20. Like receiving 6 total points after the 2 runs didn't feel too impactful. Been writing my thoughts down in the text file. I think that's fair. I think the slow bit I think could be interpreted 2 ways though, and I think I'm interpreting it correctly. But there's slow within a game, and then there's slow for meta perks, and the difficulty track. I believe you're talking about this one. Do you think the runs themselves are slow? Because I was actually thinking of slowing down how you get meta perks. So I probably need to not do that. The other thing that's kind of hard to grapple with here is like it's possible that this mode is only ever fun for like 3 runs or something, and that I'm barking up the wrong tree right now. And yeah, the start of the second run felt slow, but I wasn't sure if it was because I don't have perks. Yeah. I wonder how much of this also has to do with the psychology of timers. When you're counting down, then in order to figure out how long you've taken, you need to know the starting time. So when you see something like 40 minutes remaining versus 5 minutes elapsed, they might represent the same thing, but this might make you feel like, oh, it's been 5 minutes and I don't have any money, versus, oh man, I only have 40 minutes left. I got to get some money. I wonder how much that plays into it too. Hey, Kevin. Good morning. Overall progression feels like it'll be slow. Another thing we could do here is we could consolidate the challenge track into, let's say, 10 levels. So right now we have 20 levels with +1 difficulty mod each. We could do pretty much the exact same thing, but in 10 levels. So 10 levels with 2 difficulty mods each. I don't like that idea, I think. I think if this mode is going to work, it's got to have some longevity to it. I'm not sure the incentives are there yet. Changes look promising. Yeah, thank you. I'm a bit torn myself. So with any of this stuff, there's my own gut feeling, and then there's player feedback. And we just haven't gotten a lot of player feedback. I just did this. The number of people who played, it's been 3 unique people for 5 total runs. So that's not a lot of time. It could be enough to judge this. And then I myself did maybe like 7 or 8 levels. And my own gut feeling is that something is still missing. And I think it's more run variety. And I've got some ideas for how to address this, but when I think of other roguelike games, I think there are 2 things that kind of give them a leg up. One is they're roguelike from the beginning. So it's like they planned for every system to work in a roguelike sense. And 2 is they're usually manually played. And manually playing a game means that you feel the systems a little bit more. But this part about planning every system to work in a roguelike sense, we have the garbage slime in the game. And this is the way you dump extra items. If you don't have it, you have no way of dumping extra items. So we didn't plan for you to like, well, what if you just don't get this? It's like, well, then your items just disappear. Hey, Smalls, thanks for the raid. Welcome in. How was the stream? Trying to hold off because it could also be my bias of knowing how the other design worked and what I was used to. Yeah, I could definitely see that. Oh, UI stuff. What do you find more annoying about it? Is it the UI design or the UI implementation? Because I think I'm now more on board with the UI implementation part, and it's UI design that I find is very difficult for me. Can we get an ultra perk that costs a stupid amount of perk points that gives you like 20 skeletons at the start of the game? I think what should probably happen with that, because I wrote this down too, is that we have like a starting workers perk, and we should probably make it cost like whatever, 10 points and then 30 points and then maybe like 70 points and then maybe like 120 points. And each level is +1 worker. So you could eventually start with 4 workers and then get the ones through quests and then get your adventurous tactics workers. But the only reason you might eventually need that many workers is if you've got tons and tons of items. But I did like the industry specialization. And I wonder if what we need to do is change meta perks to be more like specializations. My entire everything I did yesterday broke because I made my textures 265 by 265 rather than 256 by 256. Oh man. Yeah, those are the kinds of things that I guess are hard to find, because it's like if you can type in a dimension for an image, any number would work. And you just look quickly to see if they're equal to one another. You don't check if they're powers of 2. Man. Well, anyway, you've learned a lot. You've done a lot. Take a load off. And thanks for the raid. So this only has the time elapsed, but otherwise get metal earned is somewhere else. And we don't even store it here. We compute it every time. I think I noticed while you were playing in my level 1 playthrough was the early game. We have lots of items and nowhere to put them or sell them. Not enough customers, no space, etc. Yeah, I wonder what to do about that. Like part of the answer could be we give you customers, or we give you space, or we give you the garbage slime. Maybe the early runs start you with a garbage slime, I don't know. And then we cut that out. Or maybe we just give you fewer items. Does cause a feeling of slowness. Yeah, yeah. No, that's fair. I gotta think about this stuff. Requires a coat of paint. You can finally ignore it for a total of 15 seconds until new problems arrive. That's what happens, yeah. Yeah, I was thinking about this myself. I've been so focused on working on challenge mode in Skeleseller, and I've been kind of ignoring everything else, but even within challenge mode, there are problems I've been ignoring. Like we have the key grinder just like in the middle of the woods. It shouldn't be there. It should look like a standalone building. And I've got to fix that at some point. I got to fix like all these little problems at some point. Like the paladin. No, the paladin is perfect. Nothing is wrong with the paladin. Everybody loves the paladin. All right, so I think what I basically realized here is I want to move the grant reputation stuff to somewhere else. And then all we need to base this on. So this is get rep earned, modify reputation. And we get this for all the medals. And put this inside of a tooltip. We need modify reputation to work. Man, maybe this was not a smart idea here, what I'm doing. Maybe I just shouldn't show the end screen another time. I'm very confused by this. I think I need to take a different tack completely. Yeah. So current scenario is if you enter a new challenge mode run and click load game, it will load your old game that was already finished. And then show the end screen and give you more rewards, even though it shouldn't. So I originally wanted it to just not give rewards. But now I wonder if we should either prevent you from loading in the first place since the run was already done. Probably this. Like, yeah, probably this. Or let you load but have a different screen saying you already beat this run. I think it's this. You need to find a place where the two tutorial levels can be replayed, as right now they technically can be, but it's the most unintuitive way possible. Yeah. Yeah, although something else to consider is what percentage of players will go back to those tutorial levels. I guess if they feel like they didn't learn something, then they might go back. But another way you could accomplish this is by just allowing for multiple save files, for example. And someone can always just make a new save file and then play the tutorial levels and then delete that file. And that way you don't need to change anything. Hey, Meridia. Yeah, I think we should do this. Prevent you from loading the save in the first place since the run was already done. Most other games probably work this way too. So yeah, I think this makes a lot more sense. So what does it mean? If we're going to prevent you from loading it, then we gray out the load game button. Yeah, it's the only place where that would show. Yeah, so we should do that. Actually, we should just disable the load game button if the only save file you have was already completed. You load in the hub world pause menu, next level will load you into tutorial 1. But I also want them accessible as there are still levels and it's a speedrunning game. Gotta add them somewhere. I'm trying to think if there's an equivalent in a game I've seen or played. because I've watched a lot of speedruns over the years. And if there's a tutorial part of a game, then people will just try to skip it basically. But I wonder, I guess a racing game might be something similar where if there was like a tutorial level, people would still probably try to get the best time on it. But if the game doesn't let you do that, then I don't think people would compete. And I don't think they'd be like, hey, we want to speedrun the tutorial as well. I think they'd probably prefer the levels that were made specifically for speedrunning as opposed to for teaching. I get that it's, yeah, that would be my personal opinion is like only reallow them for the sake of learning. And if people didn't feel the need to learn, then just don't even reallow them. You just play without the pop-ups. Yeah. Yeah. Anyway, part of the reason I say this stuff is because when I think of the prioritization of things, I always think like what's going to impact the most players and how much time will stuff cost me? And also, to some extent, how fun is the task? This sounds like an unfun task that possibly won't impact a lot of people and might cost you a decent amount of time to get it to be better UI or allow you to, I don't know, redo this, show this in the leaderboards or wherever run history thing you might have. I was just thinking, yeah, well, is it worth it? It might be. Okay, so there's a load game in the in-game menu. And we disable this in some case. Here it is. Game saver has save file. So it's not going to be has save file exactly. It's going to be if you're in challenge mode, we're going to say it's disabled if you have a continuable save file. Otherwise, it's disabled like that. There we go. Hey, Geetant. Add a menu with all tutorial videos. Play when you need. Of course, skip. I think what Smalls is talking about, though, is they're tutorial levels. Like, you can play them, and it's a speedrunning game, so you could get a different record on it. So it's not necessarily just, like, teach the player. It's also potentially just more geometry for you to mess around in. It's already implemented. One of those things with object-oriented. We're making exceptions probably more expensive than just adding an extra button. Yeah. Yeah, I think if it's truly just a button, I think it could be okay. Especially if, like you said, there's a hub world and you could be like, let's just go back to this place. Man, this is game dev though, right? This is this decision every single day for multiple years. 2 to the 6th months. Wow. Happy 64, Andorn. Thank you very much. How's it going, Andorn? How's life been? All right, so we need this. If not, file exists. Game constants dot challenge mode save file name. Then return false. Same old, same old. Good same old or bad same old? Otherwise, we need to check to see did the run end. And I guess we would have already loaded this stuff, right? I'm not positive when we would have loaded this. Load challenge mode data. Can we just call this no matter what? Wouldn't we have a continuable save file no matter what? Is loading here going to do something bad for us? It probably would. Oh, man. Yeah, it probably would. Huh. Thanks for the bits, Meridia. Getting tired of seeing the cheer 100 bits at the top. It's going to a good cause. I don't think that message goes away exactly. I think it just changes to something else. Not positive, but not negative. Should make a change. Well, I look forward to hearing about whatever changes you end up making. It didn't change. Yeah, I was going to say, I don't think that can go away. And I can't make that go away either, as far as I know. So if we already had this loaded, which I guess when you get to the title screen, we load it. Then you get into the game and we click load again. No, we wouldn't though. But we would have started a new, all right, let me try something here. I think what we can do is just if challenge mode save data dot progress dot did run end. Where do I save this? Oh, I see. Well, I thought I saw. What? Oh my God. This is not good. This is probably a sign I just shouldn't be working today. Hey, we have has an ongoing challenge run. Also, it turns out this isn't save data. I didn't realize that. Wait, what do we use this for then? On the title screen, that's it? Oh man, I didn't know we already had this written. All right. So let me just put that there, right? So if you don't have an ongoing challenge run, then this is disabled. Yeah. And then whatever I wrote about continuable runs can just be deleted. Now let's try that. Just found out the perfect trick to get people to pay. Okay, so how do I do this? I click load. And it's modifying the reputation. This is because I skipped the title screen. Okay, we got to fix that too. So I click this, and we start a new challenge run. Now the load button is grayed out. But if I save and then I load, it's still grayed out. Okay, that's a problem. Oh man. All right, I don't like this. I don't like this at all. This checks the save data here, but it never updates it. So when we save the game, should we just update it? Save challenge mode data? Just like that. This updates the one in memory, which we have to assume would have already existed. Town save data. This will always have existed. Progress and configuration though. Learning German. Nice. Do you find that you're still learning? Because I think a lot of people end up using Duolingo and the learning stops at some point, but the gamification is still there. So you still do it every day. I think it can still help reinforce some of the words you've learned. I always wonder about that. All right, so we load this, we win this run, we go to title screen, we go back to challenge mode, start a new run. This should be grayed out, but then I save and it should allow me to load this back at level 8. Yeah, so if I save again and load, yeah, nice. It looks like it's working. It's kind of hard to tell. I guess if we get a perk, maybe hardworking adventurers, save and load. Yeah, nice. When I go on vacation, slowly learning, quite similar to Dutch. Nice, nice, nice. What's your vacation going to be like? Because I feel like the broad categories of vacation are relaxing vacation, like a touristy vacation, a visit with someone kind of vacation. What else? What else indeed? I don't know, or like an event, I guess. Like maybe you're going somewhere for a concert or something like that. Current thoughts are hiking. Nice. Yeah. We went to Iceland once, and some of the hikes there were fantastic. I really like where we live in general, the Pacific Northwest. Iceland hikes. I don't remember the names of a lot of these that we went to, but if you just search for Iceland hikes, it's like all these pictures look incredible. They're just all amazing. So I wonder about Germany hikes. Let's see. I assume it's pretty much the same thing. There's probably scenic hikes practically everywhere. Yeah, it's this is also all fantastic. Especially this. What is this? This looks very cool. All right, well, I think I coded this. I think we're done with this. I think this is the better solution too. Yeah. So this grant reward stuff shouldn't be here. We should just delete it all. So delete this, delete this, delete this, and that, and this. And this is all it comes down to in the end. Update save data in memory so that we know we have an ongoing run. Although, is there a point for doing that? Like, what's the point of load game? Yeah, I can see the point. Okay, never mind. All right, this looks good. Okay, so fix bug with granting rewards multiple times. We now no longer let you load a finished run. Most players wouldn't have even known how to do this since you had to choose new run and then load game, which is counterintuitive. The problem is that loading a run, a finished run, in that case. Wait, so if you have an unfinished run, we'll let you load that? So this is 3 minutes and 24 seconds. I save, I go to the title screen. We start a new game. I go down to level 2 or whatever, and I hit load game. And we should be at level 8? Yeah. Okay. Most players wouldn't even know how to do this and just use this, which is counterintuitive. Problem is that loading a finished run in that case would cause the end screen to show and grant rewards again, even though they were already saved in your file. Always thought about moving to the Pacific Northwest. Seems like a good change of scenery compared to Florida. Nothing changes here. Yeah, when I first moved here, I didn't really think there were 4 distinct seasons, but now I do. Although I think they've become more pronounced with summer getting hotter. But man, springtime here is just so incredible. Everything comes to life. People go outside again. It's just such a nice time of year. And I've gotten some really good fall photos. There's a place called, what is it, Jean Coulon Park? Let me see if I can show you a picture just from this. They have a ton of deciduous trees. And yeah, like I don't really think this is an exaggeration of what this place looks like in the fall. This looks a little bit more saturated than normal, maybe, but it's just a beautiful park. Hey, Goose. Also got your motorbike license. Nice. Body struggles with changes in regards to weather and humidity, but I need to change. I think staying in one spot for life is boring, unless you really enjoy that spot. I always talk to my wife about this. I think a lot of people want to live near mountains or a beach or something like that. Maybe some people want to live in a city. But when it comes to nature-y things like this, and especially beaches, beachfront property tends to be pretty expensive. It's like, I wonder how many people live near a waterfront and love it for like a year or two and then get bored of it. I just, like, we have some friends who live walking distance from a beach. And my wife was like, oh, if I lived here, I'd be here, every day. And they just kind of smiled, and I'm like, what is it really? Is it like once a month? And they said, like, yeah, it's about once a month that we come here. I've been dealing with sand my entire life. I'm sick of it. All right, so this is done. This I need to probably write down. So we didn't do this, we didn't do this, but we did do this. All right, what else do we have? Meta perks that simply increase the level of another perk should probably show you what the increased levels will do without you having to invest points. How do we do that? Meta perk granting higher max level. Granted ability. I think we need this to be a higher level, but I'm not totally sure. If I say modify ability level, and I take this thing's ID, data dot, wait, where's data? Oh, lowercase data. Data.id. What? Oh, is it just ID? Yeah, it's just ID. And then 1. Does that fix this? So here's the problem that I'm trying to talk about right now. If you go to the meta perks here, this one, for example, says increased appetite max level. Increases the max level such that you'll be offered level 5. But the tooltip currently only shows you up to level 3. So it's not clear what level 5 is going to give you. But now if we rerun it, I think it'll show you. Let's see. Still no. What? How did I mess that up? How did I mess this up? Oh, we're changing. Oh, it's because I said this is 0. I need to set that to 1. I think that's right. I wonder how many people who don't like cloudy weather can't stand it for even a day or two. Because I think if you visit a place like this and it's representative of an average day, I wonder how many people would be totally turned off by that. Probably still a bunch. This still didn't fix it. I don't know what I'm doing. I don't know what I'm doing. Huh. Perk to grant higher max level. Then we get the ability so we can show the tooltip there. And how does that tooltip work? So like increased hunger. Is it this? Yeah, this. Max level. Oh, the max level changes. Get max level based on meta perk. Huh. And how's this work? It's not challenge mode, return that. Otherwise, get the current max level. Based on specifically having meta perks here? Oh, man. All right. That's bad. Yeah, that's bad. We'd have to temporarily modify meta perks here and then remove it, and it wouldn't be easy to do that. Well, I guess it would be easy to do that, but I don't think that's the right way to do things. Someone's always complaining about it. There are some places though they get like fewer than 10 days a year of rain. So if it's that remarkable, it probably is something you just get used to. Yeah, rain here is pretty light. I've been to Florida, I think, a couple times. I've seen like heavy rains. Also, I think Florida was one of the first places I've been where it was raining and it was still hot. I just wasn't used to that. It's not even remarkable if you live there, probably. Okay, so what we'd have to do is we'd have to change it so that instead of getting the max level, you're getting the max level based on an abilities component. And I think that's going to break basically everything. And I wonder if it's worth doing that. But I wonder how we'd work around this if I didn't do that. So how many places do we refer to max level? Oh, pretty much everywhere. But is every single time? No, it's not. We have an entity. Although I guess we could get the abilities component there. All right, let's look through pretty much every single one of these. Get max level. That's interesting too. Okay, so get max level is peculiar. I'll have to look at that one. This stuff we have access to an abilities component. We should in almost every case. And I think that's the way we're going to have to change this now. Yep, 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 yep. Okay, so pretty much all those look like they're fine. What about player skills? Max level here is set to speedless.count -1. So in most cases, it's just going to be the literal max level that's there. And then what? Some of these are probably different. This is based on an abilities component. That's fine. Based on an abilities component. Okay, so then where are these called from? This is the one area that might be different. Get the max level of abilities. Okay, that one is a bit special. What about this? It has an adventurer class. But we don't necessarily have an entity that exists. But this is only for player abilities that we need this thing to exist there. Oh, man. Only thing that's negative to moving out is taxes and such. I wonder what the biggest difference to your income can be if you move from one state to another state. But income isn't the full tax equation. Like here in Washington, we don't have income tax, state income tax, but we have pretty high sales tax and I think high enough property taxes. So like if you don't own property, but you're making a lot of income and you're not buying a lot of stuff in state, then that's probably the best equation for you. But in places with high income taxes, typically the other taxes should be lower. There's no easy way to do this, I think. Hey, Molback. It's going pretty well. I'm feeling a little sluggish. Okay, so the problem here is that we pull the max level based on meta perks. We would need to base it on a temporary abilities component, but we don't even consult an abilities component when it comes to returning the max level. But could we? I mean, how hard would this be? Faster hunger. Faster hunger calls this. Max level is overridden. It can't take in a parameter right now. And we wouldn't store it in an ability. But we need to consult a temporary ability. So yeah, I basically have two solutions here. Option one is modify meta perks. Modify or clone meta perks. No, it's got to be modify. There's no clone. Modify meta perks for the sake of the tooltip. Then return it to normal. And option two is have max level take in a parameter representing the abilities component to consult to see if something modified the max level. I think I'm going to go with option one. It'll modify one file, I think, but it's going to be a little bit awkward to do this. I also, do we have a way of cloning an abilities component? Clone with single ability? No. Huh. I've been paying my breathing tax. It's only a fraction of a penny per breath. That's why you just got to lower your resting heart rate. Okay, so we can make a new abilities component with all the same abilities and all the same levels. Or I guess more or less. Don't some of these not have a clone? Excuse me. player ability. I did this somewhere. I don't know where. Generated ability? Clone? Here it is. Intentionally did not support cloning. Didn't I do this in a couple different places? Apparently not anymore. All right, well then I think this will work. I think we make a public static abilities component. Why would I make it static? Public abilities component clone. So we just clone each ability and then do this. Argument 1 cannot convert from IEnumerable to IList. I don't care. I guess it technically takes in a collection. And also, this is what I meant to put here. And then this would technically be a collection. There we go. All right, so there's our clone function. So now the way I think this needs to work is we get your meta perks. Abilities component meta perks equals title screen. Challenge mode configuration. It doesn't even come from there. What am I doing? Hold on a second. Where does this come from? Player ability? No, it's here. So get your meta perks and clone it, I guess. And we say like this is meta perks clone. Wait, why do I do this? Because I need to restore it back to exactly what it was. This is going to modify. Oh, darn it. I want to just change the level of an ability that you have. So maybe we just do that. Just do int like level of ability in meta perks equals. I guess I should have gotten that, huh? Main dot challenge mode. Get level of ability. So this is going to be just ID. And then at the end of this function, so here's the description. Description equals this. We return the description. And I set this thing again. Challenge mode data, set level of ability. Set ability level, yeah. All right. Yeah, let's try that out. Well, this would work, except for that I forgot to do something. We need to set this to one level higher than it currently is. Modify ability level, ID 1. And that's assuming that you can modify it to be higher. It might already be at the max level. I should also do this. Meta perks. Does it test to see if you're at the max level? Set ability level. Level equals math.max of 0 in the level. It doesn't check for the max level. Doesn't this know what the max level is? It would only know based on whether you have a perk. And we check this here. But why don't I check it here? Why don't I just do mat.clamp level 0 and like get max level? I think that seems smarter. And probably that's what I'm doing somewhere without realizing it. Ability's not maxed yet. Battle perk. If current level is greater than or equal to the max, then remove it. Sure. 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 Yeah. All of this is fine. But modify ability level could be change the return of Boolean. I don't think it matters. All right, so where does that leave us? I think it leaves us with working code. I don't know. Well, let's go try it. So now instead of the tooltip showing just the 3 levels, these, it'll now show 5 levels. Nice, it does. And if I click this, it shouldn't break. Good. But now you don't know what it originally would have given you. So it says increases the maximum level that we offer to you to 5. But we should say like increase from 3 to 5. Increase the maximum level that we offer to you to new max level. And new max level is presumably saved here. It's not. Oh, I see. All right, increase the maximum level of this from old max level to new max level. Yeah. And old max level is going to be data.max levels 0. Hey, Coldfire. Man, some people look at moving like that as being an adventure. I look at it as being a chore. I like routine too much. Like even if we, let's say you could somehow move to any number of different planets right now. And let's say you could move to a new planet. Like you're going to be part of one of the first explorers there. I mean, I guess you wouldn't really need explorers. You probably would have mapped the planet without even visiting it. But anyway, imagine you're one of the first people to land on a planet. I think from games in sci-fi, it sounds more interesting than it would probably be. I just want to live my life here. Hey, nice. Cool. From 3 to 5. Okay, and we should probably bold those numbers. So then this should be BB code functions format number. And then same thing with this. There we go. All right, nice. Moving to a place that's 45 minutes away, and that's been horrible. Yeah, I don't think moving is generally fun. I think if you were a true minimalist, that moving probably would not be such a big deal. Because you could probably carry everything you have in like a suitcase. And then it's just packing a suitcase. I guess there are other things you have to do with moving, whether or not you're a minimalist. Like you probably have to change your electricity bill, change your address in a bunch of places, all those sorts of things. Those are tedious. Get your mail forwarded. All right, there we go. Increases the maximum level of increased appetite that will be offered to you during a run from 3 to 5. Increases from 2 to 4. Increases from 3 to 5. And yeah, that's it. You ever heard people talk about living on the space station? There's things you don't originally think about until they say it. Like someone has to perform dental work sometimes. I haven't heard too much about it. I think living on the space station, though, or a space station, would be very challenging for a lot of people. And from what I understand, they used to have, I don't know if they still do this, or I don't know if it was ever true, but they used to have astronauts make like 1,000 origami cranes in order to figure out, like, can you deal with just menial, repetitive work? Because that's what's going to happen when you're in the space station. You're going to be talking to the same, like, 4 people. You're going to be doing the same things. You're not going to have your normal creature comforts. Okay. Oh, weird. Why is this not working now? There we go. That should work. I probably messed something up here. Yeah, I did. There. Okay, now we move this down to the next public function that we have. Good. Yeah, good stuff. All right. Has to be hard in an emergency situation. You can't just go down the street to a hospital, for instance, get a replacement part at the hardware store. Yeah, I wonder how many emergencies they end up having. I mean, medical emergencies, you can only do so much to prevent, but probably they're not going to, like, trip and fall. That's not even really possible. Although there are probably, like, new things that could happen that are bad. But in terms of just regular, like, getting in a car accident, it's impossible. Yeah, like I said, tripping and falling, that's impossible. There's probably not a lot of dangerous stuff that's happening. So it's like, yeah, sure, your liver could fail or whatever. Well, they probably do some intense medical screenings ahead of time to try to prevent as much of that too. Assuming you don't already have an established colony, how many people are going and what skill sets are available? Yeah. Although it kind of makes me think, what if in a sci-fi world, this is probably worth writing like a short story about. What if like going to a new planet is just a humdrum activity? So there is no need to go with a specific skill set or something. It would be like going to a different island on Earth. As long as you bring some food and transportation, you'll be fine. So it's like people who want an adventure just go to some uncharted planet, live there for a little bit. It's like a vacation. They come back. All right, this is pretty good. So improve tooltips for this. This is 47 characters long. Meta perks, altering max levels. So they used to just say that they would increase the maximum level without showing you what those higher levels would provide. Now they'll say, okay, I'll just say in order to accomplish this, I needed to clone meta perks so that we could modify it. It was much easier than plumbing an abilities component through every instance, through every into fetching the max level. Yeah. Okay, so this is done. By the way, a lot of the next like 2 months, 3 months probably will be this sort of thing where it's like, hey, this could be slightly improved. Let's spend 20 minutes and slightly improve it. And I'm eventually going to go insane, but I'm not insane yet. I think we should slightly reduce how many perk points you get for a win. I'm not sure about this. And after what Xyletics said, I wonder if this is even true. But then again, I was thinking about higher levels here. So the number of perk points you get right now is 120 plus the difficulty times 80. And this is the reputation you get. And then perk points is 1 per 100 rep. So let's just write them all out. Like I said, there's got to be an easier way to do this. If I do this and then prev plus 1 and put this in there a whole bunch of times, I guess actually this isn't too bad, right? Yeah. Anyway, okay, so there we go. So there are all the difficulty levels. So now what we can do is we can take these difficulty levels and say when difficulty or like level this is going to give you this times 80 plus 120 divided by 100. So this is how many perk points you get. And I just wonder if the higher levels are giving you too many. Or maybe we should make a curve where it gets to a decent level sooner. So right now, if we just take some of the key levels here, like this one, this one, this one, this one, and this one. And let's just round. So level 0 gives you 1 point, level 5 gives you 5, level 10 gives you 9, level 15 gives you 13. What if we did it more like this? What if it was like we get you up to a certain number really fast and then we taper off? So it's like that. Or just sat and thought about what would you do in an apocalyptic event? I don't know, something like a go bag, perhaps not that level, but I do have a basic plan for certain situations. Not really. I kind of resign myself to if I'm in that situation, I'm probably going to die. I don't have survival skills. Ideally, there's still some semblance of internet and I can go like cache a survival guide and then study it with whatever remaining battery I have. For a while, people in the area were saying it's just a matter of when the next earthquake's going to happen. So for some number of years, I was like, okay, I better do some earthquake preparedness stuff. So I'd get like a case of water. I bought a solar panel charger for my cell phone. I I don't know. I probably did some other things too. And I was like, I don't, I get that it's insurance. It's like any other insurance. Would you rather spend a tiny bit of resources or money now in order to save you potentially a lot later? But yeah, at some point I just kind of stopped doing that stuff. So yeah, no, I would probably die. Oh, I'm not trying to say I don't think an earthquake will happen. I think it's, yeah, it'll probably happen at some point here. But hopefully it's not too bad. Hopefully it's not that common. Hopefully it's not that soon. So I probably shouldn't touch this stuff until I determine that there actually is a problem. But I think I do want there to be a curve here at some point. I'll just leave this for now. Stop the defeated elite banner from showing up. We have a function for showing this somewhere. Show defeated elite banner. Here it is. This is when you beat this for the first time. So I think what we need to do is say if main.challenge mode data. Wait, no, it's title screen dot gameplay mode. If it's challenge mode, then just don't do anything. I don't want to show this banner every single time. Yeah. Stop showing elite banner in challenge mode. It's more distracting than informational or humorous when you may see it many times. I haven't tested this. I should probably test this. I don't know if anything I've done so far is worth pushing. Probably not. But it's nice that we're getting these things finished. All right, so I click this. It doesn't spawn a banner. Yep. I should probably test it in story mode and make sure it does spawn a banner. But I can't imagine this is broken. You can do it. Nice. There's our banner. And if we were to do this again, it should not spawn a banner. Perfect. Sometimes read a note of yours and think, what did I mean when I wrote this? Sometimes, yeah. What I try to do when it comes to written notes is I try to put reference links practically everywhere to the point where I actually have a cool thing here. So check this out. Let's say I'm typing some notes. So blah, 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 some notes, blah, blah. And then I type apostrophe mref. And what it does is it types the markdown for putting reference in parentheses with whatever link is on my clipboard. So that way it's even easier to get these things like that. And I also made a macro so that if I press Control Alt Shift Command R, that it'll type out reference and then make a link to that. So same thing, but just not in Markdown anymore. Although, you know what I'm realizing now? I could have had it type out the wait, can you actually type out Markdown like that? If I just type mrev, won't it? Oh, neat. I could do that. I hadn't thought about that. But yeah, Google Docs allows for you typing Markdown in. Huh, interesting. Anyway, the reason I do that is because that way, whatever note you typed, you'll now have some other link that you can use for context later. And if you're like, what is this? How does this make sense? You could just click the reference and be like, oh, I see. That's why. Command Alt Shift Control R. Yeah, it's because it's a not very frequently used shortcut. Also, hi, Ad. All right, so this is done. I feel like we need more content. This is still the case. Perk point ramp up across difficulties may be too fast. Shop storage perks should probably cost more. They seem powerful. Less loot difficulty level is very punishing. You make this more impactful. Yeah, let's do that. Where's the income one? Income multiplier. Here it is. And how does this work? Do we ever generate this as a positive version? I don't even remember. Income multiplier. Where are you there? No, it's only a negative. So then just get rid of the generate positive version. That's never going to be true. So it's 1 minus magnitude, and I think the magnitude should go up. 5% is just not enough to care. Let's go to 8%. Let's see if that's too much. So now you'll be offered 92% income, and then 84% income, and then 76% income. This is going to feel like a pretty steep negative. Let's soften the blow a little bit, 7%. Alternatively, what we could do is we could have them not be linear. Like maybe the first one could be 90% income, and then 85% income, and then 80% income. How does that feel? Because a percentage always means that it's going to scale naturally. I'm trying to debate if I was offered something like free treasure chest but get 80% income. That seems like it'd be very difficult to win the game. So no, I think even this is maybe too steep. Maybe like 86, 82, 85, 87. Weird to have those numbers though. Maybe just 90 and then 85, and it just stays at 85. Yeah, maybe that. So float income multipliers equals 90 and then 85. And we'll say this is income multipliers dot get within bounds. Number of trade-offs presented -1. One minus, yeah. Now we don't need 1 minus here. Okay, that should work. Let's go try it out. So we need to delete most of these. Wait, let's delete that one. Let's try not to have any unique ones. That one. Different adventurer limits. Worker strike. Okay, there we go. And then in game constants, I'll change the perk points where these show to be 0, 1, and 2. And now we'll try it out. Yeah. Oh no, I never checked in the last change. Get log -1. No, I never did. Whoops. Done. Okay, so we get a perk. Multiplies income by 90%. Good. We're not going to pick that, but now it should go down to 85%. Yeah. And then the next level would also be 85%. I'd like to be able to try this, but it's going to be maybe a little bit difficult. So start new run. I want to see what the third level is going to be. No, I think it's impossible. Why though? Why indeed? Oh, because these have conditions. I haven't met the conditions. Okay, fine. Let's put these back in. I forgot about that. You can't see worker strike unless it's actually going to impact you. So if you only have one worker, it means nothing. Well, now there's some amount of luck involved. Hey, we got it. Nice. Okay, cool. It's working. Okay, so we rebalance this. This can be reverted. Rebalance income multiplier. It used to be 95% income, 90%, 85%, which wasn't steep enough. Now it's 90%, 85%, 85%. Yeah. Okay, cool. This we're just not going to do. Selective loot should be a meta perk probably. Yeah, let's go at it really fast. Ability ID. So meta perk grant selective loot. And then go take any of these grant key rarity. There we go. Then we just need to find, what is this thing called? I don't remember. Select adventure. Select adventure, selective loot. Okay. Select adventurer. Grant selective loot. And then add it to the meta perk tree. I don't know how much this one should cost. Maybe 10. It's actually decently powerful. Maybe 15. Oh, whoops. I put that right in the middle of the storage ones. Let's move it down one. It won't probably load like that, but that's okay. Oh, wait, no. The costs need to be sorted. They are sorted. Okay, let's go take a look. So perks. We should see selective loot here. Here it is. Grant selective loot. Start each run with selective loot. Allows you to select which adventurer's loot will it start inside a treasure chest. Okay, let's go start with that and start a run. And unlock the treasure room. There it is. And then click this and it asks us what do we want. Yeah, nice. Interestingly, it limits you to adventurers you already have, which maybe shouldn't be the case in challenge mode. Like, what if you do want to upgrade an adventurer you don't have? I hadn't thought of that. Yeah, I hadn't thought of that. Purchases a treasure chest containing guild supplies. Can select, set up party section. Here it is. So how does this work? Classes to offer. Yeah, this is the problem. So if I guess we could just check the town. If town.is challenge mode, gameplay mode is challenge mode. All right, so we're in challenge mode. Then the classes to offer are going to be all of the classes. Enum functions. Get valid values. Adventure class. This is actually technically not correct. Otherwise, we're going to do this. Classes to offer equals that. All right. Problem is that this is not how you're supposed to check this because there's something somewhere that knows which version of the game you're on. And if we just search for Spirit Caller, we should find it. There it is. Adventurer choices. That's kind of sort of right, but not really. Man, this is it. This is all that we ever do. Man. All right, well, in this case, I guess there's no real issue. Cannot convert from I enumerable to generic list. Yeah, we can convert it like this. All right, now let's go try that. So if you're in regular mode, you're only going to see adventures you have, which honestly, even that's not probably worthwhile to do, but whatever. And if you're in challenge mode, you'll always see all of them. So do we have this perk now? No, we don't. But if I load the game, we have the perk. That should not have happened. Oh, right. We skipped the title screen. I got to fix that. That's confusing me every single time. All right, where'd the perk go? Okay, we have the perk. Now we get the treasure room. There it is. We click this. We're offered everybody. And if I click any of them, like Golem, for example, it should have the Golem shard in it. Yeah. All right, but then I go over here and I click new game. And now we're only offered adventures we have, which is very, very difficult to do because if I click grant most things, it's going to give me every adventure. So we need to save the game. I need to go modify my save file to give myself enough money to be able to build this thing. Money. Then I load my save file. And then show all signs, click this, get the perk. Well, I guess we can try without the perk, yeah. Perk doesn't do anything. Get the one of the cards, nice. And there it is, nice, rogue. Okay, so now what happens if I unlock another adventure? So we get ourselves the mage and then click this. Nice, yeah. Cool. I like it. So add meta perk to grant selective loot. I also, well, maybe the treasure room chain should be separate, but I also changed the perk so that in challenge mode, it lets you choose any adventure, even if you haven't hired them. All right, looks good, looks good, looks good. And I moved it, right? Yeah. And looks good, cool. All right, so that's done. That's done. Keep playtesting. That's done. This is all the stuff from before. We can move this down here. All right, so I want to fix it so that challenge mode doesn't immediately put you into the game, or being a dev doesn't put you into the game, because that's frustrating. Where does that happen? Title screen. Yeah, here. We don't want to skip the title screen anymore. So just don't specify it, maybe? No, you have to specify it. False. So now if I start the game myself, I'm going to always go to the title screen, which is what I want to do. Nice. Stop skipping the title screen for devs. Problem is that the title screen itself does some loading for challenge mode. So going directly into a game is a bad idea unless we're testing something very specific. For example, if you have a completed challenge mode run and bypass the title screen, the load game button will be enabled, even though it's just going to show you the end screen. Yeah, this should all just be one paragraph. Okay, easy peasy. All right, where's the skip directly into this? Stop immediately jumping devs, it breaks things. Fix how you have level 1 unlocked if you just start the game as a dev and win immediately. It's because you don't load your save file. Yeah, this is done. Okay, next up, all this metrics stuff. When it comes to releasing the playtest version, I cut a lot of corners. Yeah, let me go write about this. We should just start a markdown file somewhere. Metrics server.md. overview. I made this just for the sake of the playtest. I cut a lot of corners. Yeah. So if we ever decide that we want to keep the metrics server around, corners I cut, then we would need to address this list. The number one thing is I did not Dockerize the server. This means that anytime my mini PC crashes, oh wait, no, hold on. I I made a systemd file or like a change for this. Oh man. All right, well, then I guess this is not a problem. I didn't even think about that. The real problem though is I didn't put any work into deploying the server. I manually copied. I wrote some notes about this. Engage privacy mode. Man, this thing can't understand me. Engage privacy mode. There we go. Give me a sec. Why is this not loading? There it is. Okay. There we go. Didn't put any work into deploying the server. The steps were roughly this. Yeah, it's like I will not give you any privacy. Copy, paste, server requirements.txt and server.py from tools/metrics server in the repo directly onto the mini PC. Awesome privacy background. Thank you. Tools, metrics server is there, right? Yeah, there it is. Then install everything. This is what? SH? Yeah. And delete this stuff. Move this up here, tab that back. And then we don't need backticks. Install and run. I set up a systemd entry so that it will automatically restart. The database is on the mini PC with no monitoring metrics, no monitoring, what else? I don't know, interface, etc. I literally copy the database locally to run any queries on it. All right, where's that command? I have an scp command somewhere, don't I? scp, yeah, here it is. All right, what else is frustrating about this? The only security is a password that exists in all playtest versions of the game, but not the demo. If this ever became a problem, we would probably want to add some kind of Steam auth. I don't have an opt-in mechanism for this, since it's just for the playtest version and people needed to DM me for access. What else? There's no identifiers other than a random UUID for each player, meaning it's hard to tell dev runs apart from real runs. This is why I have dev builds point at a local host. And then helpful commands, this stuff, deleting a run. I guess like open the database is this. Delete runs. I mean, this is basically SQL at this point. Showing overview of how many players / runs there are. In order for this command to work, we need that dot headers on. Dot headers on. Dot headers on if the column names don't show. Anything else? So you've written a note about this, about this. We need to do this every single time we run the release instructions. Set playtest specific environment variables. The space is important. Note the leading space is important so that this stuff doesn't go into my shell history. Cool. Doesn't this look messed up now when you open the preview? No, it looks fine. What about this one? Yeah, this is not right. Otherwise, that looks pretty good. Okay, so this is done. Type it with spaces. Can't show project.godot if the build fails since it'll contain the password. I'm deploying the server by copy pasting. I can invest more in this, but I suspect it'll never get more complex than this. Want to dump the whole server before launch. So we should probably write that down. If I haven't already written it down. Yeah. Delete the metrics server. This was only intended for the playtest. I wrote copy path. I wrote game/doc/metrics server, which can be deleted too. And what else? We can also remove the client-side code that tries uploading runs. You know what I kind of wonder, let's say you had 10,000 players, and let's say there was a setting somewhere that, I don't know, in game settings it said like upload anonymized usage data, and it was unchecked by default. How many people would check that? Like how much usage data would you actually get? Probably, when you have 10,000 people, you'd probably get more than one person. But I don't think it'd be very many people. Because they'd have to find the setting. The game never asks you. I also think for a production game, you wouldn't expect the game to ask you. So I think we should just gut the server completely. But it'll definitely help for now. Yeah. All right, so this needs to be done before launch. Anything else? No, that's pretty much it. So let's go check that in. Write notes about metrics server. I'm not going to review these. I don't think this is necessary. It's all throwaway stuff. I just didn't want to have it be completely blank. Okay, so these things are all finished. Good. CM dialogue tabbed container. Revamp costs. Add cheats for challenge mode. Add more meta perks. Add run history and stuff. Okay, anything else here? Less loot difficulty level is very punishing. Plus 50% enemy power is very punishing. Yeah, the plus 50% enemy power thing is kind of nuts. I want to change that. Where is that? Enemy more enemy damage, excuse me. All right, so where is that used? There it is. And damage multiplier is 150%. It was doable. I could still win runs that way, but I think that's just too strong. Like, let's tone it down to 25% more power. Yeah. So make, what level is this? 0, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Make level 7 easier. Enemies would do 150% more, no, 150% damage, which was too much. This was originally intended for use in the adventurers specialization, which, wait, was it? I don't even remember. Nah, let's just say it was too much. We don't need the history. It's now 125%. And then less loot, I said, is more punishing as well. It's 33% chance to miss out on one item. What is this really doing? It's really punishing the low levels, because at the high levels, I don't think it really makes a difference. But like in the, wait, is that how that works? Hold on a second. Is it one item? No, each item drop has a chance to lower its quantity. Okay, so yeah, that makes more sense, and that's even more punishing. So then in the early instances, the problem is, so for example here, if there's a 33% chance, normally you get 0 to 2 bows, 0 to 2 potions, and 0 to 2 cloaks. So already there was a chance of you getting nothing. And now each of those rolls has a 33% chance to give -1 to that quantity. So if you think about it, it's like on average now you're getting -0.3 of an item bows to 1.66 or something like that. Is that totally accurate, I suppose, because you're rounding these? Yeah. But anyway, in practice, it means that you're getting no items a lot more. Whereas toward the end, so like let's say we look at the deep forest, there are these ranges that we have. So here we're giving you 1 to 8 big mana potions. So there is a chance, there's a 33% chance times a 1 out of 8 chance that you, so let's just do 0.33 times 12.5. So yeah, there's a 4% chance to get no potions, which is very low. And what are the odds that you also get no canes? And there's actually no odds that you get no shields. You're guaranteed to get at least 2. And yeah, so the odds of you getting no loot from this are very slim. So we're basically just punishing the beginning of the run. And I don't think that's a good idea. Or at least not to this level. So the easiest thing we could do is just lower that 33% chance to like a 25% chance. It'll just feel less punishing. So yeah, let's do that. 2.5. Make, and now what level is this? Level 0, 1, 2, 3, 4. Make level 4 easier. There was a 33% chance to decrease the item quantity on loot granted by 1. It's now only a 25% chance. So that's not a drastic change, but it should feel a little bit better. If it's software that asks me, I always press no. If it's games, I always press yes. I think I base it on how I feel about the software or the company. Like a lot of dev stuff, I'm okay with them having anonymized data. Are we still planning to sell an itch for release? Only asking because if you use Steam auth, it'll break for those clients. Yeah, I am still planning to sell an itch. And in that case, we would just not have this work. I wonder if I should write that down. I don't think it really matters. Yeah, I don't think it really matters. I'm probably just going to delete the metrics server. I just think the only way to actually get metrics would be to really like throw it in people's faces and say, "Hey, do you want to give us some data?" And then if they say yes, then I'd have to analyze it at some point. I guess what I'm debating on is like, we should have a pretty good idea of how fun challenge mode is before the game launches. So it might be nice to have metrics to be able to make some decisions in the future. Actually, wait a second. I don't know. Yeah, whatever. Yeah. But yeah, I think my high level point stands, which is we should know that the game is fun before it launches. And I hope we'll get there. Like, I mentioned that one of the big goals that I had is be done with challenge mode by the end of October. Or at least with like the bulk of it, 90% of the stuff. It's like, okay, if there's some little polished tasks or some bug fixes, that's fine. But if challenge mode isn't fun by the end of October, I think we're going to have a big issue. And I think we still have a lot to do to get there. And as I mentioned, I think run variety is an important one. And content is one way of achieving that variety. Imagine instead of having like 50 perks, there are 150 perks. Like that on its own could potentially help, but I'm not certain that will. Better have and not need than need it and not have it. I agree, but there's a cost to having it. So in this case, to have it and not need it could mean like 2 days of dev effort wasted. And there could have been 2 days that was spent like polishing, which would have been needed. And to need and not have it could just be that we spend those 2 days when we know we need it. I generally follow the you ain't gonna need a principle. So I should probably make a new build, right? So this is now less punishing. Shop storage perk should cost more. Worker meta perk should maybe have 3 levels. Yeah, let's do that. Why not? Ability ID. Where is that? Starting workers. So we just set the max level to 3. And then in meta perk tree, we change the cost. Starting workers. It's 10, 20, 30. I already had 3 levels written out. I didn't even have 3 levels in there, did I? I didn't. Well, that's interesting. So I have a ludicrous number of points. So I guess I can just already get this, right? 10, 20, 30. So now I start with 4 workers in total. 1, 2, 3, and 4. Nice. Yeah, I think that's pretty cool. I like that. I wonder if it should cost a little bit more. Like 10, 20, 35. Through Discord or Steam reviews, you get a good idea what people might not like or like. I think it also be beneficial. Yeah. Yeah, the log data. I think that's good for any exceptions that pop up and people don't even know how to report certain bugs. Again, my primary concern is just fun. I think if the fun is there, everything else will fall into place. Did I come up with it? No. I don't think I've come up with anything that's on a Wikipedia article. But I do think it's a good practice to follow with development. Like imagine if I was like, you know what, maybe people are going to want like a setting for X, and then I'm like, oh, maybe people are going to want, 10 extra meta perks for minor stuff. If people never end up using this, then you've now spent the time doing it, but then also you have to maintain it. And especially for settings, I think this is something people don't necessarily realize. Let's say you have only Boolean settings. So something is either on or off. A good example being like, is audio muted? That's either on or off. Yes, you probably have a volume control, but whether or not it's muted is just a Boolean thing. So let's say now you have setting A, B, and C. How many different combinations of stuff do you have? And these are just bitwise flags. So you have 2 to the 3rd power, in this case, of settings. Adding just one more, any one you add is going to double the number of settings that you have. So you're going to go from 8 to 16 to 32, combinations of settings, 32 combinations of settings. Now let's say that 1 out of 32 combinations has a problem. Like setting A being on doesn't work when B, C, D, and E are off or something like that. So now it's like, okay, not only did you spend the time making this, but now it turns out there's a bug that was introduced. How many of your players have that combination of settings and now experience that bug? Then you need to go find it and fix it. And then, yeah, anyway, it's like a whole, it's a, it's a rabbit hole of problems that can result from something where you're just like, well, we just shouldn't do that thing until we find out that it's actually a problem. In Elixir. And by the way, I don't think that's an issue overall with software development. Like only working on a problem when you know it's a problem. Except if it's like an ethical case. So for example, like, oh, we're not gonna protect user data or something like that. That's a problem. But something along the lines of like, we're not going to let you mute audio. I don't think that's a problem. It's like a bunch of people complain, then sure, fine, let them. But otherwise, probably they'll find some other way, right? In their operating system, they'll just mute that app. They'll turn down their speaker volume or something. They'll complain about it on the forums and give you a bad review. Like those sorts of things are what'll happen. And then you'll be like, oh, okay, I guess I need to do that now. Add another level of starting workers. Okie dokie. So we should probably do another push today. Yeah, I should probably also sync all these changes. This probably wouldn't have impacted users, this bug that I fixed. This will have. The tooltip is now better. This will. This definitely will. Yeah, all the rest of this stuff should. Well, not the dev one and not the notes. But yeah, the other ones should. No one made it to level 4, level 7. And that's part of why I want to push today, is so that when they get to that time, when they get to those levels, that they're a little bit easier for them. But I think that's going to be it for the stream for today. I try to just kickstart my Tuesdays and Thursday mornings, and I'm feeling sluggish. I don't want to stream and have it be like a drag for people. And I'm not even certain I want to do a lot of extra work off stream today. Improve challenge mode a bit by doing a bunch of random tasks. Okay, hey Sigosh. I'm doing well. I'm a little bit tired, but I think in general, I'm happy with the progress that's been going on. I just launched the new playtest version yesterday. So people are now able to try out the new stuff. Hope Abby gives you a nice recharge. Yeah, maybe I'll go find her and pat her cute little head. Oh, hey, it's Kit streaming with Ben Palmer. I wanna go check that out. So can I play the new demo? It's just the playtest version. The demo has been unchanged. But yeah, all right, I'm gonna get going. Like I said, thank you all for watching. You should join Discord. And I'll be back tomorrow. I think. I'm pretty sure. And we'll see what I have planned. I don't know. I want to take it a little bit easy. So yeah, thank you for being here. Thanks for watching. And take care.